Okay, shall we start on this fungi and bacteria worksheet one? This is meant usually for corrections, and for those who do not understand, where you may be able to rewind this and start looking at the answers again and again. Okay, let's take a look. Right, choose the correct answer for the following questions. Why is fungi not plants? Now, obviously, they are not plant because there are some distinct differences. Okay, and if they both are growing on land, then they grow on land. Plants do grow on land, so you just cannot say there's no differences on that. Okay, they reproduce by spores. Yes, non-flowering plants, some of them reproduce by spores, some by seed, and most of them through being flowering plant through seeds and fruits. Okay, now so both of them produced by spores is not totally distinctive. Okay, you can't tell that. Okay, they cannot make their own food. They cannot make their own food. Okay, fungi cannot make their own food. All right, the answer is 3. They cannot move by themselves. Now, of course, both of them can move by themselves as living things, but most of the time they cannot move from place to place. In fact, all of the time, right? They can't really move from place to place. So answer is 3 for here. Right, let us carry on. Why do fungi need to grow? Okay, let's take a look. Now, fungi is a living thing, okay, and they need air, true, right? They need air. This is correct. Okay, so anything with A is correct. A is correct. Okay, they need air, food, and water to grow. Okay, over here they do not have food. That is fine. Okay, but whatever given here, we have to choose the best. Okay, we know that sunlight is not needed. Okay, not necessarily needed. Okay, warm is needed. Warm here refers to the right temperature. All right, not too hot, not too cold. Water for every living thing is needed. Okay, so anything with A, B, C will be correct. Okay, anything with a D is wrong. So look here, there's a D wrong. Straight away the answer can never be 3. Okay, just B only is not possible, so the answer is 4. All right, as you can see over here. Let us carry on. What can be observed growing from a slice of bread left in the dark cupboard after a week? Here, dark is simply means the place can be the moisture level can be kept very consistent. It means if you put near the sunlight, probably the water will definitely be evaporated. Okay, so when a slice of bread is being left near the dark cupboard, most probably the moisture is contained, the food is being taken in from the bread. All right, it's definitely the mold. Okay, here now yeast that does not really grow that what do you call that, multiply or have activity this way. Okay, not the plant, not the bracket fungus. So answer is 2. All right, let's carry on. Some bacteria are useful because if they are useful, they cause diseases, then this is wrong. Okay, so any answers with A is not right. So this is not right because it has an A here, this has an A here, this is not right. We are left with 1 and 3 to choose from. Okay, help in digestion, true. Okay, help to turn milk into cheese, right? Though they don't really make cheese, but they somehow, okay, in some way help, okay, get the cheese going, right? So the answer is 3, okay, which is here. Let's carry on to the next one. Natalie left her used bag in her cupboard for a year. Okay, a used bag in a cupboard for a year. Then, when she took it out, okay, she saw some white-green patches on the back. White-green patches on the back. Sounds looks like mold. She touched them. Some powdery grains were seen on her finger. okay, something from those patches, okay, those powdery grains, okay, transferred onto your finger. What are these powdery grains? Okay, least likely it could be dirt also, but if there's one whole big chunk of them over there, not powder it could mean that the foot powder or facial powder. Bacteria least likely, okay, it is a fungal spore, right? Fungal spore straight away. One similarity between bacteria and yeast, okay, they produce spores. No, bacteria don't, okay, so this is not right. They are known as germs. Only this bacteria is known as germs, but yeast is not. Yeast is fungi, okay, so this is not. They are microorganisms. Yes, this is the answer. Let's look down below here before we conclude that that is the answer. They are harmful to our bodies. Not true, as you learn from the above. The bacteria, they can be useful, as well as some fungi. All right. Okay, so 3 is the answer for this. Next, which of the following is true about fungi? Let's take a look. Fungi come in different shapes and sizes. True. Okay, so anything with A is true. Okay, 1 could be true, 3 could be true, and this 4 could be true, right? All fungi are useful. Not true. Okay, so this is not the answer. This is not the answer, and this is definitely not the answer. We are being left with this A and C. Okay, fungi reproduced by spore. All right, yeah, that is the answer. Why there are 3 crosses here is because B is not true. Any of the choices here with B, you should not. You should straight away know that this 1 is not the choice. 2 is not the choice because it has B, and of course 4 is not the choice. Okay, it is quite interesting to see and get your multiple choice done this way. Let us carry on. Which of the following is true about bacteria? Let's take a look. Bacteria cannot reproduce. This is not true. Bacteria can reproduce. Why? Because they are living things. All right. Now, bacteria can be easily seen. All bacteria are microscopic. Okay, so this is false. Okay, this one says can be easily seen. Bacteria need water to survive. This is true. Take a look at the last one. All bacteria are useful to man. No. Okay, there are bacteria that cause harm and sicknesses, okay, diseases also to man. So 3 is the answer. Let's take below. Number 9, what instrument do scientists use to look for bacteria? Obviously, this is the microscope. Binocular, it is for distance, but to be placed in your eyes. Binocular, it means 2 lenses get into your eyes like this. Binocular. Spectacles, obviously you know what they are. And magnifying glass, you know what they are, is to magnify something which you cannot see, but probably not at microscopic level. Okay, let us carry on. Number 10. Which of the following cannot be classified into the same group? Yeast, toadstool, mushroom, bracket fungi. All these are fungi. All these are fungi. So let's take a look. Okay, let's just take a look in terms of poisonous, non-poisonous, or edible, non-edible. Mushroom, we just cannot say that all of them are edible. Some of them are maybe slightly harmful. Some of them could be poisonous. Toadstool are definitely poisonous. And bracket fungi, just not very sure. Okay, but what we can see here very clearly, the one that stands out is yeast. Why? Think over. Yes, because yeast is more towards very small size, microscopic. Okay, more towards that smaller size. Okay, the rest can be seen with the naked eye. Next. Now slowly let us do this. A slice of bread X, which is this, okay? As a pupil doing your exams, you must be able to be clear while reading this instruction on top. They are linked to the picture and they are linked to the questions. Do not jump straight onto the questions and look at the picture. Okay, see what the conditions are stated here. This bread over here, slice of bread X, was kept in a plastic container. So X was in the container. A similar slice of bread Y, however, it was sprayed with water before it was kept in another similar plastic container. So both were kept in a container, and the water was sprayed onto, more water is being seen, okay, deliberately sprayed onto bread Y. Okay, so both of them were being placed in a container. All right, then these containers, both of them were placed on the same location, which is the cupboard. Same location, right? The cupboard. Okay, now after a while, a week later, some patches were being observed, and here more patches. Definitely you can conclude easily that these are mold, okay, or the mold over here. So what are those patches on the bread? Okay, they are mold, okay, bread mold. Right, that is easy. Let's carry on. Now what do you observe about the patches on the two slices of bread? Only on the patches of the slices of bread, right? You take a look. Yes, they have patches here, they have patches there. Okay, and this definitely has more and this is less. So bread Y has more mold than bread X. Okay, by the way, this mold is spelled this way. If you were to spell M-O-L-D, it's perfectly fine. Why? Because of the different spelling from different countries, right? Now, from the above experiment, what is needed for the patch to grow? Now, these patches, they are mold, they are living things, they need air, food, and water, and probably the right temperature. Okay. Now, we are not going to talk so much about the temperature. Why? Because they are both placed on the same location, a cupboard which is warm and nice and so on, but it may not be necessarily, okay, the best condition. What do you call that? The only condition that which is best for mold to grow, even slightly high temperature or slightly lower temperature, mold will still grow, but at a lower pace, okay, lower rate, right? Let's take a look again. So whatever is written here, obviously this experiment is talking about with more water. This one, the bread probably already has some moisture in it. That is why that patches, the mold, they grew over here because of those moisture. So besides having water to show us that this having water, okay, we put water besides, having air and food. Okay, obviously air is needed, food is needed, okay, but okay, water is also needed for these patches to grow. Okay, so we just cannot say, oh, this experiment shows that water is needed. Okay, what about air? What about food? Okay, therefore you write it this way. Besides having air and food, water is needed, okay, for the patches to grow. Number 9, Ali wrote the following statement in her notebook. Statement P: if I see my hands are clean, it means that there is no bacteria on them. Okay, obviously we know that this is not correct, not totally, definitely not correct, because even you have washed your hand thoroughly according to your level, bacteria will still be there. Okay, they'll be still stuck somewhere. Okay, whether they're harmful or not, that is another thing, but they're so microscopic that you just cannot fully wash, okay, any and all bacteria away by just washing. Statement Q: all bacteria are harmful to man. We know that this is not true. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, let us answer. When it's incorrect, let us tell why. Bacteria are microscopic and they are everywhere, whether those things or our hand to look clean or dirty. Okay, they're still there. Now, statement Q, the reason is some bacteria are not harmful. So if you say all bacteria are harmful, this is not true at all. Some are not harmful, and some of them could even be useful to us. Okay, that is how we counteract the way this statement is being placed here. Let's just continue. Now this is quite interesting, how they are similar. Okay, this is microscopic, we know, and this is can be seen through the naked eye. They are similar. You just cannot put that they are fungi. All right, we need to not about their classification name, but the characteristic of the classification. What do they do? The characteristics, of their groupings. So the similarity is both a fungi and they reproduce by spores. The size, these are microscopic. You can see bread mold as patches because these mold, they grow in colonies. As just like a grain of rice, can't really see from far, but you put a lot of them together and you can see a colony, just like colony, a group of rice are coming together, so it looks as if it is big. All right, so mold, bread molds are the same. The patches are just big patches, but deep inside them, look carefully. They're very microscopic mold. And for the size of mushroom, they can be seen with the naked eye. Now over here, the use for mold, we cannot totally say that we can eat the mold, or the mold is poisonous. But some of you, if may place the answer here that mold is not so useful, fine. Most mold are inedible, fine. Now if you were to say mold is used to make some drugs, we have to be careful with that, because it is not the mold that we get them together and do something or process them and get the medicine out. It is that mold produce something, which the scientists found out. They call penicillin, and these substances will kill and they will explode the bacteria around them. Somehow these are being used for antibiotics. So the use for mold, not mold as themselves, but what the mold can give out. They produce some substances that kill bacteria. But of course, for simple answer, is say mold use, or they say they're not so useful as a whole, fine, it is okay. The answer is all right. And for edible mushroom, here definitely when you say edible, fine, what's the use? For food, good enough. All right, we just hope you understand that. Thank you.